Welcome to a video all about my experience vending at StationeryFest 2025, one of the biggest stationery events in the UK. Hi, I'm Lucy, the artist behind Lucy Locks Art, and I make nature-inspired artwork, stationery, apparel and decor from my home studio, all whilst working full-time as a civil engineer. Now come along with me to StationeryFest 2025. Alright, so welcome to the Edge in Wigan, where this year's StationeryFest was held. It's a little bit different from previous years where it's actually been based in Manchester, so if you're curious about what that looks like, definitely check out last year's vlog. I go into a little bit more detail about the layout and the atmosphere of there and my different thoughts on where I was actually put last year, so it was very different to this year. This time, the event was spread over 2 days, and I was lucky enough to be vending on both the Friday and the Saturday. So Friday was the Discovery Day, which was meant for businesses younger than 2 years old, and also businesses that are releasing a new product. So we were releasing all the new journal bundles, as you can see through the top there. This is my layout, just quickly to butt in here. I was quite pleased with it, and we made some lovely little pencils. So if you've not seen my last vlog, you'll have seen me making all those pens and pencils out of card and things, so that was really fun. But anyway, yes, so I was vending on the Discovery Day because I had some new products, and then the Saturday was the main event, and honestly it was such a busy and brilliant whirlwind of a weekend, and I just didn't manage to get any setup footage, which is classic me, but I did send Natalie off with my camera to try and capture as many stalls and small businesses as possible, and she did her best, although we definitely missed a few, so I'm sorry if you're not featured, but I've really tried to capture as much as possible. I think actually this bit's me filming on the Friday when everyone was setting up after we'd done the Discovery Day. We were walking around, we obviously see some big names, big faces. Emily, lovely as always, came to say hi, and we just walked around really quick here, and then the next footage is all this footage that Natalie took on the Saturday when I was trying to vend. It was obviously very, very busy, so I kind of had to send Natalie off for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then she'd have to come back to me really quick and try and help me sell things and bag things up, because it was just that hectic. It was very, very busy, and it was just really enjoyable. But so the Friday was kind of this big day. It was actually very good. I came away from Friday feeling very, very upbeat. We made, a good amount of money. We made the stall cost back on the Friday alone with some profit, so I was really pleased with that, because I knew going into Saturday that would be the day. Now, my only concern was that on the Saturday we would have less buyers, because on the Friday a lot of the VIPs came that day. They had already purchased from me because the big main hall wasn't open yet. It was just the avenue and the street, which were the corridors, and I just was so concerned that the Saturday wouldn't be as good because of that. But I was so wrong, like really, really wrong. There were VIPs that couldn't come on the Friday, so they came on the Saturday. There was more of the general public coming in, and it was just incredible. The VIPs are so enthusiastic. They've obviously paid that extra to have that extra VIP ticket, and they go to this to experience all the different Stationery Fest. Just listen to this enthusiasm from them. Right, so on to the filming that Natalie did of all the stalls that we could possibly get round and feature. So I do apologise if you're not on here, I really, really do. I've tried to capture as much as possible, but it was just so hectic. But I have tried to put as many names of the businesses we catch on screen, so if anyone catches your eye, please do go support them. There's so much creativity and talent under one roof at this event. And also, a fair warning, there are actually a few rogue shots of Natalie being accosted and photographed with random props, so I'll let you enjoy those as they come up. But honestly, it was such an amazing event. It's such a special opportunity for not just to showcase my own artwork and stationery and products, but to reconnect with fellow small business pals, catch up with familiar faces, and soak in all that inspiring setup, branding, and the designs that people have worked so incredibly hard on. I had absolutely no time to shop, which is absolutely tragic, but I still came away feeling completely inspired by everyone's things around me. And it is truly one of the highlights, was actually getting to meet so many of you, people who have watched these vlogs, followed me on Instagram, or have the opportunity to shop with me in the past. Coming up to me and saying these things to me, it means more than you actually know. I recently did another market after this Stationery Fest and it was a massive flop, but one person came up to me, they bought some things, they messaged me later on Instagram, they must have been a bit shy. I know you watch my vlogs, but you said that you watch me and you've been following me for a while, and it was really cool to meet me and buy some things from me, and just having that is the highlight. It doesn't matter so much about the money when you have these incredible opportunities to meet some of you and feel like I'm not just this lonely voice on the internet, and there are actually people watching and enjoying my videos, and it truly is one of the highlights. It really is. It means the world. Those little conversation hugs, hellos, they're all a massive part of the whole weekend. So thank you if you came to say hi. I'm so grateful for this incredible community, small businesses, and you as watchers, viewers, buyers alike. Just incredible. I've got so many more stalls to show you here, so I'm going to let you enjoy them. Hopefully you'll find some that you think looks cool that you've never seen before, and you give them a follow and check out their shops as well, and then I'll give you a little run through of my final thoughts at the end. Wow, what an absolute incredible weekend. I can't express to you how amazing it was. It was definitely one of my best markets that I've ever done, and I've done a lot of markets, and I honestly, I'm still on a come down from it. It's about 2 weeks post StationeryFest now. I had my last vlog go up where it was all the prep for it, so it's been a week since then, and now this vlog's going up. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing all these amazing businesses, and I hope you found some more that may be new to you that you can follow and support as well. It would be amazing. But it was one of these weekends where the enjoyment of seeing people, seeing your friends, small businesses, everything like that was just amazing. And I definitely feel like the atmosphere got us going, because 2 full days of standing was absolute hell on our feet. My feet were in agony. We stayed in a Premier Inn in the centre of Wigan, which was not too far from the venue, and we got up early, we sorted Mabel out, we took her for a long walk, then we set off and we got to the venue for, it must have been 10 o'clock, I think. We got to the venue for 10 o'clock, which was the earliest time you could get there, and then we had, I think it was 3 or 4 hours, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 4 hours to set up before 2 o'clock, which is when the Discovery Day was open. Now, the layout of the Edge was very different to Manchester Central, and basically I have a map here. Let me see. So here, basically you had the main room, the auditorium, then you had the avenue, you had the street, and then there's a bunch of smaller rooms here. Now, I was in the avenue, so I was in this here. The entrance to the venue was here, so you had to walk up the avenue to get either to the main room or to this side lane, the street, or any of the rooms. So you had to walk past my stall. Now, I do think that was a massive factor to potentially me doing well. However, it could have gone badly. There were definitely scenarios where it could have gone badly, where they may have directed people into the main room first and then they had to go around that and come back out. I was kind of in front of the room, so if they did that, you'd go in, you'd come out the other door, and you'd miss me in the middle. So I was a little bit concerned about that, but luckily that wasn't the case. But that might change next year, I don't know. I do think that the StationeryFest will be held here for the next year or so, but it was a very different layout, and I know there's a lot of people that have very conflicting feelings about whether this venue was better than Manchester Central. I think in terms of generic people coming in and probably size of the venue, therefore amount of people that safely can be allowed in, I think Manchester Central is probably better for that, because the tickets for this year's StationeryFest sold out immediately, and they had to have people on a wait list, and then they opened that wait list last minute on the Saturday. So it definitely filled out. I don't know what the number of people allowed in Manchester Central versus Wigan, the Edge, is. I don't know whether it's a big difference, a small difference, I'm not really sure. But I do know the tickets sold out for this event. The parking was much better. You could actually find parking. It wasn't hard to find parking. The train links to close by were quite easy. You didn't have to go too far. I do think in terms of the travel aspect, all of that, and the layout, for me personally, was much better. If you did watch my vlog from last year's StationeryFest, I was put into a very small room off the main room, and I think people in the main room didn't quite understand that actually it was absolutely detrimental to the footfall in that small room. I think for everyone else it felt like an average StationeryFest every year, but for us it was we still did very well, don't get me wrong, but it probably wasn't as good as the people in the main room. So for me this year, it felt like such an incredible change to actually have a really decent spot in the whole venue, to be vending for both days, not just the one day. All of that added up to an absolutely incredible weekend in terms of sales. I'm not going to beat about the bush. I did very well. I'm not going to go into values and things like that, because I don't want to feel like I'm bragging or feel like, you know, I don't want to make it a competition between small businesses, because I feel like that happens quite a lot. I just did very well. I'm very happy with it. It's my best market I've done yet, and I'm very chuffed. The one thing I will tell you, and I don't know what last year's was, so it's probably not the best comparison, but just in card payments alone, and I did take a lot of cash alongside this, I did 126 transactions. 126. Now, that's just card. I am absolutely blown away by the support. I honestly have not had a smile leave my face for 2 weeks. I really haven't. It's been incredible. The sheer amount of things that sold, my journal bundles that were new for this year, launched them on the website, didn't make any website sales. So it might feel like this is an incredible event, but I didn't make any website sales for my new launch. It just didn't happen. So I made all of my sales on my new products, and I've not made any sales since then for the bundles either on my website. So I was really chuffed. I sold 5, 10, 15, 20, 26 journal bundles on the Friday, a couple on the Saturday, but it was mainly the Friday, and I think it's because it was that discovery day. People were coming for the new products and they wanted to buy them before they sold out. A lot of the VIPs came Friday and Saturday, a lot only came Saturday, quite a lot only came Friday as well. So you had people that were hell-bent on getting these things and not missing out on them. So I think that was a massive factor. And then my other best sellers were washi tape, sticker packs and sticker sheets. No surprise there. Sticker sheets didn't do very well for me last year, but they did incredibly this year. They were neck and neck with the sticker packs, which was quite interesting to see. And my other 2 best sellers that were more surprising for me were my tumblers. I sold out of almost all my designs of tumblers. I'm really sad that I only took 2 of each. It was very, very sad. And my mystery bags. Now, last year I was told mystery bags were the big seller, the big thing to have at your market. So I made tons of them, barely sold any. I've had them sat on my shelf. They steadily sell at my market. But I sold out of all my £10 mystery bags. I've had to actually recently just make some more because I just completely sold out. It was incredible. I was adding onto my Instagram, you know, this is sold out, this is sold out, and it's just not something that's ever happened to me before. So it was just an incredible experience. And like I say, the venue changed, the layout changed. For me personally, I thought it was 1,000 times better, but that's because I'm comparing to a small room off the main room from last year. If I was in the main room last year, I don't know. I could have done way better last year, who knows, but for me personally it did do very well. And I just want to say a massive thank you to Bex and all of her helpers for running such an incredible event. It went very smoothly in my eyes. There were a few things that were out of their control, like the heat. The corridors were maybe a little bit more cramped than hoped, but I think that's something that you're not going to know until you've set up your first event there, and hopefully next year there's some changes. I'm sure they'll put out a feedback form for everyone to give feedbacks, and that's probably what I will say, is maybe remove the backboards in the corridors so that people have a little bit more room. But all in all, it was an incredible event, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing a little bit of it and seeing what we could capture, hearing a little bit more of my thoughts. And thank you for everyone who came to support me, who supports me on here, on Instagram, on my website, or in person. I do really appreciate it, and it means the world. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.